CBS News and 60 Minutes have been busy sabotaging the merger of Skydance and Paramount, no matter what they might shout about and say it's something otherwise. But folks, as we get closer and closer to a settlement of the $20 billion lawsuit with El Presidente Trump, as well as the FCC investigation may be closing down, CBS News and 60 Minutes, they're clowning around, trying to burn everything to the ground at the last minute. We'll show you the latest right now. Hello, folks. It is another dandy of a day, and we are happy that you've come our way. Coming to you from somewhere sunny USA, the studio is glistening as you're listening to the latest in news, tomorrow's headlines being pumped out across the YouTubes. Folks, as we get ready to get started, click the like button. We'll dive in. You join us right now. All right, folks, it's time for the news, and we are not going to lose this moment because 60 Minutes is doubling down, but we've got reasons for why it's happening. Take a look at this. It's out of the LA Times. 60 Minutes shows it's not scared off by Trump's lawsuit and threats. Now, to give you some understanding of what's going on right now, 60 Minutes got in big trouble. The FCC is breathing down the neck of all of CBS. The news division has a $20 billion lawsuit aimed at them from the President of the United States. And guess what? They're looking to settle. Much to the chagrin of the journalist drive-bys, it's looking like President Trump, Orange Man, sad. Oh, wait, no, he's glad to win. Looks like he's going to get that win. And as a result, they are apoplectic over there. Skydance is feeling much better with that settlement underway, and the FCC apparently greenlighting this, hopefully real soon. That makes the merger possible. Skydance buying Paramount CBS is good for everybody in this, but it can't happen until the settlement is done and until the FCC clears it. Now, all of that said, 60 Minutes, you would think, and the news division would be playing nice right now. Surely, because everything could be lost if the settlement doesn't go through. But 60 Minutes is definitely not playing nice, and the LA Times is celebrating them. We'll explain what's going on. This is by Stephen Battaglio and Meg James. 60 Minutes is not going easy on President Trump. The CBS News magazine is embroiled in a legal battle with the president over its October interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris, which Trump claims was deceptively edited to help her presidential campaign. The lawsuit is an obstacle to the CBS News parent, Paramount Global's proposed $8 billion sale to Skydance Media. Well, yes, I would say it's a problem when there's a $20 billion lawsuit on an entity that's valued at $8 billion. And by the way, 60 Minutes and the people there, they don't have to pay it. The news division doesn't have to pay it. It's the people who own the company that are going to have to pay this thing. But since the suit was filed last fall, 60 Minutes has remained dogged in its coverage of the Trump administration's policies. This past Sunday was no different, as correspondent Scott Peely reported on how Trump is using executive orders to target law firms that he accuses of quote-unquote weaponizing the justice system against him. The orders threaten to bar attorneys from courthouses and federal agencies and cancel government contracts held by law firms and their clients. At least that's the way this is framed. Targeted firms say that what the president signed amounted to a corporate death penalty, Paley said in the report. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. Mark Elias, who is definitely not associated with the lefties and definitely is not a partisan attorney. Oh, wait, he is. Says that he successfully fought one of Trump's court challenges in the 2020 election results, told Paley the White House's actions are akin to the way in which a mob boss intimidates people in the neighborhood that he's seeking to either exact protection money from or engage in other nefarious conduct. In other words, once again, 60 Minutes turns to someone as an authoritative source who is clearly a partisan. Now, I don't care. I literally don't care. They can do whatever they want to do. I'm not here to talk the politics of it. I don't care about Mark Elias. I don't care about how this plays out over the next 2 or 4 years. What I care about is that at a time when they need to settle with President Trump, they are sticking their finger in his eye and jabbing. But folks, here's the deal. The reason for this is 60 Minutes and the people who work there, they, I believe, know something that you should know as well. And panel, I'll hand it to you on this. This is my hypothesis. I believe that when Skydance buys Paramount and CBS, that these people are done. I think that they have tried, they have attempted in every way to sabotage all of this to such a degree, and they know. I think they know that, the guy, Bill Owens, who was the head of 60 Minutes, he's gone. He's already jumped ship. He's already out of there. The people that are left, they're leaving too when Skydance gets this. I think they know it. I think everybody knows it, and that's why as the ship goes down, they're throwing their middle finger up to the air. That's what this is. This is nothing but contempt for the fact that they lost, and them doubling down and calling it journalism and hoping that because they do this, then the DNC is going to find them a new spot somewhere else for them to jump ship to. I don't think it's going to be PBS or NPR now, based on what we're seeing with the funding. But they're going to be given. They'll get a CNN cushy job, right? They'll get a subsidized MSNBC gig. That's the plan. They'll go over to the New York Times. Panel, what say you? Is this what is happening as we watch 60 Minutes, perhaps on its last legs?
People still watch 60 Minutes?
I know it's shocking. I
didn't know it was still on the air.
Well. Okay. So let's also point out they got nominated for an Emmy Award for that hack job of an interview that they edited to make it look like Kamala Harris was more intelligent than she presented in that interview. I think this is they're turning 60 Minutes, which is a relic of an older age of news magazine journalism. They're trying to make it into. They're trying to turn its failure into a political issue that is Trump's fault, as opposed to just a failure of the format.
Listen, these folks, they don't apologize. They don't change course. They double down. They grind it out, and they get a marketing firm to test the waters to see if they can find a new way to shovel the same poop down your throat. We're watching through a temper tantrum because I think you're right. When this deal goes through, a lot of heads are going to roll, and now there isn't a lot of place for them to fail upwards anymore. So what are they going to do? People aren't really interested in what they have to say, so coming to YouTube isn't going to do anything for them. And as we've kind of seen with a certain former First Ladies podcast, once you're out there by yourself without the protection of marketing behind you, you kind of start to realize that, oh wait, these people don't really have much to say and or offer. And then you fail someplace else. They're kind of stuck, and the only thing they have is to just whine, cry, and be as petulant can be.
Well, I just want to clarify for folks out there. When we mock The View, we do so because it's losing viewership. The viewership is terrible. When we do articles and videos on MSNBC and CNN and late night TV, we're talking about their demise because their viewership is so bad. But when we're talking about 60 Minutes, it's a different beast. 60 Minutes, you see, is the second most viewed prime broadcast network TV show, according to Nielsen. Now, that's granted, that's quite a few caveats to get there. That's a number of categories applied. But still, this is pulling almost 7 million viewers. They skew older. The demo is much smaller as a proportion, but it's still a very relevant show. What's going on is they're sending this show completely off the rails, whereas they kind of pretended in the past that they were journalism and they would sneak in these scandals. The way this is working now is it's just all out. It's like we're being bought out, and you're going to make us play nice and be unbiased and unpartisan. Well, we won't be here for that. You'll have the name of the show, but we're going to blow it up on the way out. We're going to tank this thing before you get your grubby hands on it, Skydance. I think that's what's happening. I think the way this is, that's what's playing right here. Could be wrong, but that's what I believe is underway. And what's fascinating about all of it is, it's yet another example that these drive-by journalists, they have no allegiance to the companies that pay them. Their allegiance is to their ideology. Their allegiance is they're essentially sent out, right? They are missionaries from the DNC. Now, I'm not trying to be political and partisan. I'm just trying to say that 90% plus of journalists are on the left side of the political aisle. And at the highest levels, these people really are. They are evangelists for the far left. And if you challenge them, if you're a boss over them inside a corporate structure, tough. They don't care. They don't care what you have to say. They don't care what you tell them to do. The only thing they understand is you're fired. And when they're fired, they get rehired somewhere else with one of these subsidized networks or news outlets that's getting the Soros money. Pam, am I wrong about any of that?
Well, what I found...
I was just going to say, this feels a little bit reminiscent of CNN pre them cleaning house. I think it was a couple years ago, and I don't really follow CNN that much. I just know that there were a whole bunch of CNN people that were let go. That Brian guy, Don Lemon at the same time. I don't know who else, but they were doing inflammatory stories before CNN decided to clean house. They probably already knew that they were on the chopping block and said, you know what, I don't care. I'm just going to let go with what I want to. And I see the same thing happening here with 60 Minutes.
Absolutely.
Tom, what were you saying?
Well, I found it hilarious because What's His Face came out, 2 weeks ago, and did this sob story about, because they're basically taking care of themselves. They don't even have to get fired, right? Because this guy who was the head of 60 Minutes for years and years and years left. Now, they tried to set the story up like it sounded like he got fired and that Trump was stopping them from doing any reporting. And then if you actually listen to the whole story, it's like, no, he just left because he didn't like that there was people at CBS, not anybody involved with Trump, going through their stories ahead of time now. And I could see why, considering how many lawsuits have been going on in the last couple of years. And it has very little to do with Trump and more to do with the fact that they're not really reporting news. They're just making crap up. Right? Like, right. Here's the problem. And it's like, so you're sitting here saying, oh, woe is me because of this, that, and the other. It's like, well, none of these things that you're trying to claim are happening. And all you're really doing is saying, boo-hoo, I got caught lying. That's really what I see going on here. And this is going to continue from people like 60 Minutes and CNN and other places that have done nothing but lie for the past 8 years, basically almost a decade now.
Except this time, Tom, if Skydance buys them, you got to think Skydance is not going to be appreciative of a news division that basically did everything they could to sabotage the whole merger. I want to show you how bad things have gotten. So this is out of the Federalist, and let me see who the author is on this. Mark Hemingway is the author here. Sherry Redstone is the controlling manager, essentially, of Paramount, and they're selling to the Ellisons. The Ellisons, I believe, are about the fourth richest family in the world, talking about legitimately wealthy people, not despots. You get the idea. Here's how Redstone has had to deal with this. Supposedly, according to the article, Redstone, this is Sherry Redstone, has also expressed a desire to settle Donald Trump's case against 60 Minutes over allegations they deceptively edited their interview with Kamala Harris last fall. Though the New York Times, is loath to discuss it, there's also lots of speculation that Redstone, an observant Jew, was less than thrilled when 60 Minutes recently ran an offensively stupid segment where veteran reporter Leslie Stahl asked a freed hostage if he had been intentionally starved or unintentionally starved because the hostage takers ran out of food. Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure they were being oppressed. They couldn't get to the grocery store to feed their darn hostages. Can you imagine? So this is the kind of nonsense that they're dealing with, and Sherry Redstone is sitting there going, I'm paying these people. And not only are they offending me, but they're blocking this freaking merger. And so she's got to be telling Skydance, listen, when you get a hold of this, you got to get these parasites out of here because they'll destroy you. They'll destroy you. Culture, you see it any other way?
No, I don't think anybody could see it any other way. I mean, we've been watching them in real time sabotage, not just entire news segments, but whole programs. They have been undermining Shari, and there's the shill media, the trades out there have been calling this out for several days now, saying that, Shari Redstone's going to have to make a decision, pick between 60 Minutes and actually, selling her company and preserving her family fortune. Those two things seem like a no-brainer to me. I would get rid of 60 Minutes now and, replace it with reruns of, cartoons that you still own. It would be far more effective in informing people. But the news magazine itself does have a long history. In fact, it surprises me people are willing to listen to these very biased octogenarians each and every night. They're so out of touch with reality and the world around them that really they only operate within the bounds of whatever political bias they possess. And of course, they possess the right one so that they can give you the globalist perspective each and every night and say nice things about a Fed chair who doesn't want America to have any financial growth because it's bad for the party that he supports. Today you're going to get not the rate cut that you deserve. And you know who's going to support that? 60 Minutes.
Yep.
Oh, 60 Minutes. Well, folks, we are going to be watching closely. The settlement, we believe, is not far away. And the reason for that is because CBS, Paramount, and the Trump attorneys are meeting in mediation this week. They were starting to meet last Wednesday. They're meeting this week. And we believe, according to the New York Times now, that the folks over the Paramount board have already voted on that settlement. So what we're down to now is, can they get to the point where the Trump attorneys agree with them on the agreement that's already pre-existing? That's how we see it. Now, there's some speculation there because that's part of a leak that came out from the New York Times, but that's what we're going with right now. Looks like the settlement is on the way. Panel, any final thoughts on 60 Minutes and the rest of these crazies who will sabotage their own corporations in order to carry the water for the left?
I don't know about anybody else, but I won't miss it when it's gone.
Exactly. Go ahead, Kevin.
I would say, it's a self-perpetuating machine because you have to look at how these companies hire. You're supposed to be a journalist, but you look at where does everybody get their people from? They're taking specifically leftist staffers, interns, former, Congress people. They're giving them jobs as commentators, as talking heads. And then when they fail, they still go behind the scenes. And it's just a massive echo chamber. And they have no desire to let any alternative thought in, no matter how dire the consequences to their, to their credibility. So we're just watching the self-perpetuating machine do what it does. And again, it's 60 Minutes will probably be a victim of it, but now it's just on to the next. It's on to the next victim IP. They destroyed. Poor Ted Turner looking at his network. Ted was wasn't exactly I would pretend he was an arch conservative or anything, but he most certainly did not have any intentions on CNN becoming what it became. So how many times do we have to watch this play out and pretend that we're shocked that it played out this way?
Yep, it is. Listen. They will capture any corporation they can, and if they can't capture the top, they'll do what they want to do. They'll run amok underneath that, and then when they're told to scram, they just get assigned a new place to be. It's fascinating to see. We will continue to cover the CBS situation, folks, and we'll give it to you as soon as we get the news of the settlement. Hopefully, we'll get an amount attached to it, but that has yet to be seen. Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew, and that is, we're only asking you click that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw. because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. I mean, she's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... I'm gonna call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.